Okay, we are back, everyone. Hi. Hello. Howdy. How are you? Hopefully I don't disconnect, but it seems to be a ritual happening often enough. All the same, if I do, then I'll be back. Well, where did we leave off? We've gone through most of the crew, and I hope you're having a blast seeing how this ship's crew is shaking up. And if you were to take this crew on various adventures, what you could do with them. You know, you can form different away teams. You'd have them specialize in different ways. By the way, a shout out to Osakachi for the renewal of the sub. Thank you very much for that. And hello, Heretic Trans. Enjoy the ride then too, Heretic. Now we have our officer is next in line to be made, and is also next in line in the roster aboard the ship. We have another science, a science doer, whatever those people are called. Sounds dumb, whatever. A xenobiologist. So this is the role that this character is going to be filling. And I do hope that you like seeing how we have a medic as a geologist, how you're going to see an officer as a xenobiologist, and we did have a scientist, as per the career, be our xenoarchaeologist. I want this to be inspirational to you all. I know I've said this before, you all have probably heard this before. If you are playing Dungeons and Dragons, you can describe your character as a paladin if you are playing a valor bard, because you also wear armor, use shields, and can cast magic while using a sword. You can describe yourself as a paladin in concept if you're a cleric who also wears heavy armor, uses a sword, has a shield, and can cast spells. There's a lot of great adaptability, not just in concept, but in how you use the mechanics that are provided to you. Since the intent of things also can play a part. Certainly in legal circumstances, intent can mean a lot. So what we're going to do, we look at our officer here, right? Our officer, in concept, when everything is going to shit, the company's holding your crew's pay hostage, there's a mountain of reports to file from that last incident near Thetis, and who knows how many family members back home are weighing on everyone's minds. It's a good thing you spent all those years training to do this for a living. You're the authority figure, the role model, the voice of your superiors, and the enlisted crew's advocate. You're also the butt of all their jokes around the mess hall until it all gets so much worse. And they're looking at you, or they're looking to you for what to do next. Better hope your training has a solution to this one. Heretic Trance, is this you? Heretic, are we making you as an alien RPG character? I mean, what you do is it's kind of xenobiology, right? Well, just because look, because you're the one, you do stand up, you do grump at the superiors, you do stand up for the small folk. You're caught in the between the gears kind of an attitude. Now, does this xenobiologist officer have to fit that description? No, not at all. In fact, if we go over to Building Better Worlds, the description of an officer, you might be the champion of the people, giving the working stiff a voice against the company, a union steward, a rabble-rousing firebrand, or a community worker. You listen to the voice of the unheard, stand up for the rights of the downtrodden, and can never bring people together to speak with one voice. And can bring people together to speak with one voice. Never forget, this world was made for everyone and not just some company fat cats. Unless, of course, you're the colonial supervisor or on the command team, and you are one of the fat cats. So you see how we can challenge the idea and open it up. Let's look at what this career gives us. Our key attribute is empathy, with key skills in ranged combat, command, and manipulation. All right. Yep, exactly. So we have a person here who is capable at character creation of having a higher value of 5 than the usual cap of 4 on the attributes. Remember, this is 1/2 of our dice pools, okay? We can go 5 in empathy. Otherwise, the cap is 4. We get 16... I'm sorry, that'd be cool. We get 14 points to put into our attributes. Let's see. We are a xenobiologist. We are someone who as a xenobiologist, this could even be considering things like the psychology of a humanoid or a more animal, like a bestial xeno or something. It could come in that regard too. Let's see. If you're a xenobiologist, you study, let's see. Well, so we have one of our scientists goes out into the field, collects rocks, is very good at doing so. Is probably a lot like our captain in expressing him or herself. So now we have someone who... Ranged combat might be in taking down. If we have someone who has more empathy, we might have someone who wants to understand. We have someone who... studies tardigrades on distant planets. Someone who might work for a company, an individual, a research university, but is also caught in a concept that way. What about a character like Muldoon? A character like Muldoon as a xenobiologist. We have a wrangler of animals or someone who can hunt more humanoid species, who understands that kind of empathy in the body language or in what's happening, can fire a shot to tranquilize, or can fire a net gun or something else. So our xenobiologist may not be the microscope type, but is the one who understands more the behavior. We have more of the hunter type. In that case, so far we don't have a scientist on sort of a an away team, because even if the captain goes down, he doesn't have a lot of command. Ooh, let's see. What happens if we go hard into empathy? That is 9, 11, 13. We can put one more point. So we could go 3 strength. Although, if that were the case, then if we're the hunter, I think we would need things like observation and survival. And our dice pools are going to be a little bit smaller because we can only put 1 into these. So instead, let's play around with the idea and make this work. Let's drop empathy to a 3. Bring up seven, 11, 14. Let's drop agility and bring up strength. Because if we keep this, right? 6 and 8 is 14. This is what we can do with our skills. We can go 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Although I think we should bring up manipulation. So our skills are spread a little more thinly, but if you look, we have a similar dice pool of 5 for manipulation as we do for observation, but our wits are higher than what our observation are. Yet we're still rolling 5 dice for that. We're rolling 5 dice for ranged combat. What our xenobiologists, let's see, if we're hunting and capturing, probably heavy machinery might be better than mobility. I think that might be a little bit better. And I believe that the attribute and the skill spread here, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think that works. So 14 in attributes. We have 10 in our skills. And now what that means is our health is based on strength. Our encumbrance is twice our strength. And we get a talent. Our career talents are field commander, influence, and pull rank. And let's check out what those 3 are. You can use command to give orders in combat as a fast action. Uh-oh, hey. Woohoo! Welcome, Raiders, in from Ravenstar. Welcome, welcome. right. You can use command to give orders in combat as a fast action instead of a slow. This, in effect, means you can give orders twice in the same round. Hi, Derek. This is that. So if we have that Muldoon style character for a xenobiologist, that's that, shoot, kind of a moment, right? You can order people in the field for trying to capture and acquire species for study. Influence. With rank comes certain privileges. Being obeyed is one of them. You can push any skill roll based on empathy twice, not just once. Ooh, that could be powerful as well. Or pull rank, you can use your command skill to order other non-officer PCs and NPCs around, as long as they belong to the same organization as you. To force someone to follow your orders and perform a specific action, roll command against the target's manipulation. If successful, the target must follow your order, even if it means harm or danger to themselves. Your stress level increases by 1 each time you do this. Note also that each roll only covers one specific action. You cannot stop actions triggered by panic rolls using this talent. Ooh, haha. I'm kind of liking Field Commander, though with the expansion of building better worlds, this opens up Talk Their Language and Hothead. Talk Their Language. A born orator and public speaker, you can talk to a crowd and make every person think you are talking just to them and them alone. Rather than suffering a negative modifier to your commander manipulation rolls when outnumbered, you gain a +1 modification instead. I don't know if we're really that big of a face aboard the crew of this scientific excursion vehicle. So let's take a look then at Talk Their Language. Is that a general here? No, it's a tough. Is that back here? Oh no, I'm sorry. That was talk. I mean, Hothead. That's totally what I meant the whole time. Hothead, you don't like being told what to do. You get a +2 modification to opposed rolls for manipulation whenever someone tries to give you orders. This talent can also be used to resist the officer's career talent pull rank. I think in this case, Field Commander is going to be the way to go, since we're out there trying to coordinate the capture of xenospecies for research and study. Excellent. Another character for Alien RPG made who has depth, personality, and the mechanics back up the role aboard the ship as a xenobiologist and the concept of the career of officer. All right, let's move on. Now, here we have the career of pilot. Remember, that's a placeholder notion. We'll see what the pilot gets mechanically, but it should be noted that our pilot, as per career, has, where's my, there we go. That is our astrophysicist. Our astrophysicist now, being a pilot, agility, piloting, ranged combat, and comtech are going to be our key attribute and skills: agility, piloting, ranged combat, and comtech. That means we can go higher in these skills on character creation. So how can we combine the concept of an astrophysicist with where we can specialize as a pilot? Well, comtech for sure is using electronics. Astrophysicists might need to develop unique programs or use special tools on the fly in order to measure anomalies, or in order to make a new equation for something, or plug in variables quickly, or things along those lines. Piloting and ranged combat, that could very well be that we have a pilot not of the large vessel, but of someone who can guide probes, or who can maybe smaller craft, or guide satellites or the like. Ranged combat can come into play. Hey, Obsidian, thank you.
Evening us.
The ranged combat can come into play by, well, I mean, not just like shooting a shotgun or a rifle. That could be in a ranged combat if you're at the helm of a ship, or your game mother might even call for a ranged combat if you're trying to align a dish to a signal beacon or something else like that. So I think there's ways that we can really make this work. And we have this is someone who's very techie. Probably a great big nerd. Yeah. So we get our 14 points, 2 in every attribute to start. That gives us 6. That gives us 6 to play with which to play. For sure, we have a nerd. And you know what? I think we should have a hot shot here. 9, 11, 13. I don't know if we're really... I think we're... Would someone as an astrophysicist really need to be in a position of command, manipulation, or medical aid? Physical or psychological? I think that might be better served up here in bringing strength up to a 3 for the dice pools. Give him some points in observation. Years of getting picked on. He's watching his back. So here's our 14 points. Let's build this up. Now we get 10 points to drop into our skills. Our key skills may have up to 3 points in them. Any other skill outside of our key skills may start with 1, unless your GM says otherwise. This would be... one in observation. One in heavy machinery. Maybe if we're talking about, you got to fix up the little, the satellite dish, or an aligner, a shuttle or something. So we can put 1 here, 1 here. Comtech, let's drop 2. That is 4 points. We get 6 more. You know what? I really want to say we should go 3 piloting and 3 ranged combat. This is, let's see if we do that. Well, like we really do have, like we have someone who's the astrophysicist, who's probably the actual best pilot on the ship, but is probably spending a lot of time in a flight simulator to study the effects of gravity and such. You know what? Let's do this. Let's drop ranged combat to 2. We're gonna bring Comtech up. Oh, manipulation 1 to get out of because if he's called out for being a yeah, you know what? Let's do that. Piloting 2, manipulation 1. We have 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is a very interesting spread for an astrophysicist. But you know what? This works, and he not only can he be the astrophysicist on board the ship, even though he's a pilot by written word in career, this still allows him to be an astrophysicist, and this is a very unique personality and a niche aboard the ship. A very dynamic character that stands out against the others. And really, so far, all of them have been. This isn't some cookie-cutter process. I hope you can see how wonderfully adaptable this Alien RPG system is. All right, we have our 14 in attributes. We have our 10 in abilities. Now let's take a look at our talents. Full throttle, like the back of your hand, like a glove, or reckless. We'll see if any of those fit, and we'll also explore what the expansion might offer a pilot in building better worlds. You like to go fast, really fast. When piloting a spacecraft, you get a +2 modification to piloting rolls for any accelerate or decelerate actions. Like the back of your hand, this vehicle is yours, and you know every bolt and cable, nook and cranny. Choose one vehicle or spacecraft, not one type, but a single specific craft. You get a +2 modification to piloting with the chosen vehicle. You can choose this talent several times, once for each vehicle. Or reckless. You live for the rush of adrenaline through your veins, pushing harder than others dare. You can push any skill roll based on agility twice, not just once like other characters. Each push increases your stress level by 1. Okay? The back of your hand might work for the specific, like astrophysicist pod or like the shuttle pod to go out to align dishes to pick up signals away from the main spacecraft or something along that line. However, for being a pilot, our talents open up to Hold Your Nerve and EVA Specialist. Let's see. Hold Your Nerve. Your resilience allows you to block out the bad things going on around you. Once per shift, you can use your signature item to reduce the panic total you suffer by D6 points. This does not stop you from using the signature item to reduce your stress level as usual. That could be good, especially as an astrophysicist, if you realize some of the stuff that could be out there. Because this also might make you the communications officer and such, too. Hold Your Nerve could be a really powerful one for this character. Your resilience allows you to block out the bad things. Once per shift, you can use your signature item. So, we can do high stress stuff, but we also might be able to bleed off high stress. Now, the other talent that was open to us was EVA Specialist. And that is, you get +2 heavy machinery. You get +2 to heavy machinery and Comtech rolls. Ooh, when spacewalking. Though would our astrophysicist be doing a lot of spacewalking? If you want to study something, you should be out in it. We have a bit of a daredevil astrophysicist who can pilot, who could probably work on fixing things too, probably doing it himself. I'm kind of liking this. I'm kind of liking the EVA specialist. We have someone who's not afraid to go out into space. And he'll scream while out in space because he's probably listening. He's probably listening to like rock music or something. And a Comtech too. You know what? This also further cements that we have a specialist for this kind of thing. We have an EVA specialist. Well, I mean, the talent is specialist as well. Hi, Blue Joy. Good to see you. So we have an astrophysicist who's not afraid of getting physical. Who's not afraid, who can hopefully talk out of a situation. But who's not afraid to put him or herself quite literally out there in the gravitational forces to study them, to understand it, to spend time in a flight simulator under different circumstances, to test things out. Oh, hey, what are you having as a snack or a meal, Blue Joy? And did you bring enough for the rest of us in class? Oh, this is wonderful. This is an awesome concept. This is so... I hope you're enjoying this. By now, you should be able to see how easy it is to create these characters and still how compelling they can be. All right, next up, we have our Roughneck. Our Roughneck has a specialty in strength, heavy machinery, stamina, and close combat. Roughneck, strength, heavy machinery, stamina, and close combat. Whew, we are specialized. And if we want to lean into it, we certainly may. So from here, our Roughneck has taken on the role of security. We are security guard 2. Now, our first security guard is more of the kind of a spy. Watches cameras, is better at shooting. In this regard, this is probably more like a Worf style security officer. Much more hands-on, much more bouncer bruiser than manipulator, behind the scenes, security through information and long-range interdiction, as opposed to security through, you ain't getting in here with them shoes. And you can't walk past this person. We might actually have someone named Slab Bulkhead as a security guard. And if we do lean into this hard, this character, he or she still holds a unique niche among everyone else. All right, what do? We start with 2 in every attribute, and we have 6 more points. I think if we're going to do this, we're going to do this right. Let's go hard into strength. Let's go hard into strength. Maybe not so much ranged combat, piloting, or mobility. We could probably keep 2 there. And if we go 4, that gives us 1 more point that we could drop into wits. So if we have this as our setup, right? 8, 12, 14, there's our abilities. We get 10 points. What if we go 3, 3, 3, and we would get one more, which is probably command. And we can only put 1 point in there because it's not a key skill. We don't need to fiddle with guns. We're already 2 pistol bang bang, and we always have our guns. We don't really need to be observant because we're the ones that people call when there's stuff going on. Hi, Rip Artist. I think we have a character who is wild, pure, and forever free. This was a very easy 10 points. And yet, he or she has a very awesome niche aboard this scientific vessel. It could even be a nuclear vessel. And probably is, just with fusion instead of fission. All right, Roughneck talents. Resilient, the long haul, or true grit. Let's take a look at those, and then we'll see what our expanded talents are in building better worlds. Only the hardiest folks survive out here. Roll for strength. Attribute only, no skill. Anytime you suffer damage, you can't push the roll, which does not count as an action. For every success you roll, 1 point of damage is eliminated. If all damage is eliminated, you suffer none at all. The long haul. You've seen it and done it all before. Nothing surprises you anymore. Once per act in cinematic play, and once per game session in campaign play, you may ignore all stress from a single roll. True grit. Life on the frontier is a constant struggle. Luckily, you have what it takes to overcome anything that comes your way. You can push any skill roll based on strength twice. Oh, these are all so good. So good. And if you get that reference, you are cultured, and I'm not turning to dust just yet, but that is definitely going back in time a little bit here. We have a security guard. Who's very physical. I'm right now, I'm leaning resilient. Resilient or true grit? However, let's see if a case can be made for husbandry or jury rig. Husbandry says you have grown up with animals or have been extensively trained. This means that our ship can be carrying one of those big old excavators. One of the tardigrade, the giant tardigrade things, devourers, I think they're. You can manage livestock, control dogs, and even handle a manacled harvester. There we go. And even handle a manacled harvester with the right equipment. You can use survival to force animals to follow simple instructions, and you are skilled in the use of harnesses and electroprods to handle harvesters without the usual negative modifier for using such equipment. Ooh. In that case, no, let's leave the attributes and skills where they lie. I mean, we can still take the talent. I'm like, well, if we shift this around, let's see how this works. Jury rig. With a turn of work, you can make a one-use item from scrap and parts you find lying around at the GM's discretion. The number of successes beyond the first determines any positive skill roll modifiers of the item. That could be handy as well, because you can effectively always be armed. I keep saying we're a science team and we're exploring. Having a harvester wrangler would be interesting, especially as a security officer, because then we could use the electroshock prods on people who are getting out of line. You can use survival to force animals to follow simple instructions. Though that might mean that we could possibly try to cow a Xeno. All right, I'm making an executive decision. Oh, all right, Blue Joy. Well, I hope you enjoyed your Jimmy John sub. That sounds very tasty. I'm going to make an executive decision. Let's move our empathy here, because we work with animals. It's just some of them on the ship walk on two legs. We're going to move command over to survival. And I like this. That we can... In fact, this would also have him work very well with our xenobiologist, too. So we get a little bit of... we get a little bit of jolly cooperation. All right, so we're going to get husbandry. Our health is equal to our strength, and our encumbrance is twice our strength. Oh, yeah. I'm getting good tingles from this character. I mean, I have for them all, but this is such an elegant system. And we have these individuals who are still compelling themselves, though the crunch and the fluff meet up. And here, everything is on this single page. And it's not cluttered. It's not, and it's not difficult to go through. All right. We're moving on. Loading to our scientist, who was in fact a scientist. Scientist in particular, xenoarchaeology. Now, as a scientist, we get wits, observation, survival, and comtech. Wits, observation, survival, and comtech. Now you see that we have the brainy character, right? We had the brawn character. This is the brain character. Let's see. Archaeology. This could also... so this is architecture. This is culture, anthropology. This is art. There's some crossover if we have a dig site, because it was found by the geologist, and then the archaeologist comes in. So we do have someone who can speak to culture and art, who could understand harder sciences like engineering and architecture and building, and building science and materials. So we're going to start with our attributes here. And so we have someone who is hired on the ship to be this archaeologist, in particular a xenoarchaeologist. We probably have to lift at least some things. Well, should we also go hard into wits? If we go hard into wits, empathy for cultural stuff. That gives us 9, 12, 14. Or we can make up for a 5 wits here and instead go for, maybe we have a calm person, an even person. We have a balanced person. We have someone who understands. We have a person who understands a lot of things. Because you have to understand a culture, the art and the physicality of it. So if that's the case, archaeology and okay. We have a balanced character. What if we go 2? Remember, we can have up to 3 in a key skill. Everything else has to be 1. But we have someone who studies art, architecture, culture, technology. That should probably be a comtech. Understanding various martial arts and movement and machinery as well for archaeology. Survival, you should know some survival for how people live and they get along. Medical aid for psychology and physiology. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Although, what if we're more passive? Well, close combat could be for dodging and things, too. That might be important. Mobility, how a people get around, not just piloting. Unless we actually make an all-rounder. If we make an all-rounder, analysis, breakthrough, and inquisitive, our talent might be able to do that. But we have someone who is a generalist and can piece together a lot of different things. That's what I'm getting from this xenoarchaeologist. So yeah, let's make it. Let's quite literally make an all-rounder. We're gonna put 1 in all the skills except 2. Manipulation, part of culture. Maybe we don't have a lot of personal stamina. I mean, we have 3. That's fine. Command structures. Piloting would be things like vehicles. So that would be, carts, vans. Piloting could come into roads. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. We have someone who can bring a lot of things together. A multidisciplinary archaeologist who brings together, a lot of considerations. So we have someone who can collate a bunch of information. May not be a specialist, but can bring it together in a way to paint these scenes of what things could have looked like, how life could have been lived. And a very open-minded. In fact, I guess if we want to say that he might be a bit of a pacifist in that regard, we can move stamina over so that he can spend time in the field understanding, or he can spend time in his lab and not having to take breaks to eat or things along those lines, because he does need time to put everything together. So we have kind of a pacifist character. Yeah, a jack of all trades. And that's where the xenoarchaeology comes into play, because this really is multidisciplinary to make a complete picture from fragments. So you need someone who is fragmented, yet a complete person. There we go. All right. Now let's check out the talents. Analysis, breakthrough, and inquisitive. You can roll for observation to gain insight regarding strange and alien artifacts or creatures that you encounter and get a chance to study for at least one turn. For every success you roll, you get to ask the GM one of the questions below. Is it human or alien? Is it dead or alive? How old is it? What is its purpose? How does it work? What problems could it cause? GM must answer truthfully, but is allowed to give vague or incomplete answers in order to avoid spoiling the scenario. A successful analyze roll also reduces the stress level of all other PCs within short range. That seems like a strong one, Hypersilus. You've done it. Once per game session, you automatically pass an observation roll of your choice without needing to make the roll. In order to... observation isn't just seeing things, but it can also be putting things together. In order to avoid spoiling the scenario, the GM has final say on whether or not this talent can be used for a particular role. Inquisitive, you're always seeking to expand the boundaries of your knowledge. You can push any skill roll based on wits twice. Analysis seems strong for this character. And if we come back over here, we can also get intense focus or stoic. Intense focus reads, your discipline and attention to detail gives you the ability to block out the outside world and focus on the task at hand. You gain a +2 modification to any task that takes at least a turn or a shift to complete. But if you are interrupted, you automatically fail the task and must start again. Ooh. So we operate in the long term, and if we get that long term, we are getting a specific +2 bonus. That seems pretty good for someone who does take time to try and understand. But let's be fair and check out Stoic. Stoic is a general feat here. You can roll for stamina using wits instead of strength. Those long nights as studying, right? You can roll for stamina using wits instead of strength. You know what? Let's do this. I'm really liking... Let's take stamina down. We'll put observation at 2, so we have a healthy dice pool of 6. And I like the I like analysis. I like analysis, especially because that's another stress reducer, and we only have 2 on a team of 12 that can help with that. This is the softer scientist than the very stoic geologist. Excellent. I think we only have 2 more characters to build. The synth. We'll do the synth last. The synth has special rules, okay? And has a special role on the ship as well. So let's hold on a moment on the synth. Let's create our Wildcatter character. The Wildcatter is the second career introduced in Building Better Worlds. So our key attribute is agility, and we get piloting, survival, and observation. Agility, piloting, survival, observation. Agility, piloting, survival, observation. And the role aboard the ship our Wildcatter has is as a scout. And the general idea of the scout aboard the ship that one was back a little bit this way. Scouts explore ahead of the rest of the team, mapping out terrain and looking for unseen dangers. Though the role of a scout can be accomplished by a Wildcatter, it is more often than not filled by an LRRV, a pair of pups, or a well-trained dog. To avoid the risk of contamination on new worlds, many dogs have recently begun to be replaced by synthetic canines. So we have someone who may feel like his or her job is being outsourced to animals. But we have someone who's a scout. We have someone who needs to be brave and go out there. In fact, this person might almost be an accompaniment to our astrophysicist, but also our xenobiologist. So we have a scout with that as a general idea for guiding the role in the builds our Wildcatter has. All right, let's go back and take a look. Remember, we can go up to 5 in agility, with 4 being the cap for the others. We start with a 2 in everything else. And we have a total of 14 points. If we can, if we scout ahead, we're someone who does have to be old. We're someone who does have to be, observation is going to be a part of this. And if we don't want to dump just 3 points to give this a big skew. Wildcatter is our scout. What do scouts need to put stuff together? We should go. I think we should go 4 wits. I think we should go. We have a team. Scouting. What if we build it like this? We do that? If he's scouting in this way, he's probably using devices. Or she. Instead of actually going out there and doing this scouting. Although, if we have the go-getter who uses equipment, we should have the go-getter who is also... What do we have for our talents? You have a canny knack for seeing the terrain in a way no one else can and getting your vehicle safely where it needs to go. You gain a +2 to all piloting rolls when driving a ground or submersible vehicle. Okay. You are an expert prospector and can sniff out rich resources better than anyone. When prospecting, you roll twice on the prospecting finds table and keep the best result. Miracle mechanic, vehicle systems, life support, colony functions, and all types of machines break down just when you need them the most, but you're used to it. You can make a heavy machinery roll as a slow action to cajole, massage, pray, or use kind words to make an otherwise broken machine work for just a moment longer. The number of successes multiplied by 2 determines how many rounds the machine will continue to operate, with a minimum of 1 before it splutters its last in a plume of black smoke. These two, so the astrophysicist and the wildcatter scout would be our mechanics, our heavy mechanics. Prospecting is very unique to this expansion as well. And we do have our animal wrangler, our Roughneck, who is leaning into this as well. Why don't we let our astrophysicist be the kind of the miracle mechanic in that case? Prospecting seems good and lets us lean into this as the expansion. However, we also may look at the right path and 0G. Oh wait, hang on. Was he looking at wrong ones? No, new talents for the wildcatter. Oh, that is the right path. Was that? Well, right path, prospecting, and miracle mechanic. So that's 0G training and calm breather. When making a supply roll for air, you get to roll 2 dice fewer than your supply level for a minimum of 1. Okay. Very specialized. 0G, your sense of balance is well adapted to an environment without gravity. You get +2 mobility rolls in 0G. Okay. I'm kind of liking the prospecting. By the way, that's the harvester that the Roughneck gets to wrangle. Wildcatting, prospecting finds. It's a bust. Minor deposits of quality stone, sandy silicone, a deep basin of clay deposits with gemstones and diamonds. Partially buried remains of an older ancient spaceship. Yeah. We have someone who discovers and who is particularly good at uncovering. We have our generalist of our archaeologist, but our archaeologist can't work on archaeology if you don't find things to do to archaeologize. If we go low strength, maybe it's more that old coot mining prospector. Yeah, I like that. So we're gonna go back to here. Sorry, Acrobat doesn't know what to do sometimes. Come on. Please. Please. Computer. Just load. Oh my goodness. All right. Prospecting and otherwise, so he's good at prospecting. That's his talent. It's not going to augment anything else about his character, but it is his specialist. And in which case, if we need to do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, if we go 4-4-4-2, so we're not as healthy. That old gray mare just ain't what she used to be. Ain't what she used to be. Ain't what she used to be. Although if we ignore, do we ignore piloting? No, I like this. All right. Now we have 10 points for our skills, and we can go hard into the skills that are specialties or keys. We can go up to 3. Any other skill outside of that is 1 at character creation. I think we have a lot of advice that we can give. We can command, we can try and manipulate, because we've been around the block a couple times. We have seen things. Piloting, maybe 1. We can operate that. We can operate this. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 for survival. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I like this build. I think this works. Still has a very unique niche in the ship crew. And has a little bit of frontline, a lot of backline for command and manipulation, examination, but can go out and actually prospect on the ground as well. But it just doesn't have a physical presence and isn't good at pew-pews or throwing hooks. All right. Well, then this is what we're going to do. Let's take another break, everyone. And when we come back in 5 or 10 minutes, let's talk about building a synth, why it's different, and then we can go through and start developing the party a little bit more. Now that we have a broad look at what and who is a part of it. So I'll be right back. Hold on tight. And we'll get into the special rules of synth character creation when we return.